Alright everyone, how you doing? Patrick here. Hope you're all well. So today I wanted to talk about best trekking poles for the Altaplex. Because the Altaplex is a tent designed for tall hikers, the trekking poles needed to pitch it need to be taller as well. So zpacks recommend a minimum of 56 inches, 142 centimeters. So I bought the Altaplex right here. So I had the duplex, sold that and replaced it with this because I'm 6'2" and I found I was hitting the duplex wall too often. I actually have another video where I'd compare the duplex versus the Altaplex, so if you haven't decided which one is right for you, you can check that out. This video is just with the best poles for the Altaplex. Most poles won't extend high enough to be used with the Altaplex, so that limits the pool of prospective poles you could use, and so I spent some time researching what was the best ones, and I'll go through them now. So ultimately I decided to go with the Lecky Kumbu poles. I had the Lecky Micro Vario poles, which are great poles, but they didn't extend high enough for the Altaplex. Used my duplex, no problem, but not for the Altaplex. So I chose these ones because for me personally they were the best combination of features, and I'll talk about that more as I go along each pole. So just the specs on these, they extend to 145 centimeters, 57 inches. Each pole weighs 9.8 ounces or 278 grams, and for the pair it was $130. Obviously that may change depending on where you shop. So they're pretty expensive for what they are, but actually in comparison they're kind of middle of the road, maybe a bit above average. The main reason I picked these ones is because I've used Lecky before, so tried and true. I had no problems with my previous Lecky poles. They last me for years. I was able to sell them on to cover a good chunk of the cost of these, so they hold their value as well. They're super durable. They got the cork handles, which is nice. So yeah, all around, just really high build quality, ticks all the boxes. They're expensive, but not the most expensive, so I was happy to go with these, and I would recommend these to anyone who wasn't happy with them. And I should say there'll be links to everything I talked about in the description below. So that's one option. Another option I was looking at was the CNOC Telescopic poles. And it is pronounced CNOC. CNOC is an old Irish word for hill. It's not CNOC as some people pronounce it. So the CNOC poles come in EVA grip or cork grip. Cork grips are lighter and $10 more expensive. So they both extend to 158 centimeters, 62 inches, which is what more than you need with the Altaplex. The EVA grips weigh 9.2 ounces per pole, and the cork grip is 7.4 ounces, which is pretty light. The EVA ones cost $190. The cork handle ones cost $200 for the pair. Whilst they are lighter and extend a bit higher than the Kumbu poles, an extra $70, that really wasn't worth it in my opinion. I'd rather invest that $70 somewhere else in my kit. But I'm sure they're great poles. Many hikers use them, but for my needs, that extra $70 wasn't worth it. Another option is the zpacks carbon fiber poles. Obviously the Altaplex is a zpacks tent, so their poles are designed to be a companion to them. They extend to 142 centimeters, 56 inches. They're $100 per pair, and each pole weighs 6.7 ounces. So whilst they are lighter and cheaper, I was happy to pay that extra $30 for the added durability of the Lecky poles. So because they're so light, I'm a little worried about how durable they are, how they would last on a true hike or a long hike, that type of thing. And as I said, I was well used to Lecky poles, and they last me for years with no problems. I'd rather spend a little bit more up front and have the gear last much longer. Again, I'm sure they're great poles. I'm happy to pay an added premium for more durability, especially with something like poles, and especially if I'm using poles to pitch my tent. Another option I was looking at was the Lecky Savita Pros. They extend to the same height as the Kumbu poles. They're a little heavier and just $10 more. Main reason I go with these ones is because they're primarily designed to be winter poles. Most of my hiking is done in spring and summer and the shoulder seasons. So if you're primarily a winter hiker, then these would be a good option, I would say. For me, I didn't need the added durability and toughness that you need in the winter poles. The Kumbu poles were durable enough for me. They're a little lighter and a little cheaper, so I was like, I don't need that extra bump up with the pros. The last two trekking poles I was looking at were Mountain Smith Trekker FX Lite and the Comdel camera staff. Now these two poles are actually monopods, which means that they have a tripod screw at the top, so you can reveal the top handle and put a camera on it. Ultimately, I decided I don't need that functionality in my kit. I can get it elsewhere. But if you're out there with a DSLR camera and you're focused a lot on photography or videography, and you need a monopod, and this would be a great option for you. Essentially, you turn the trek pole into a monopod, and you can just shoot with that much easier. These two both extend to the same height, 150 centimeters, 59 inches. The mattress fit is 9.5 ounces per pole, and the Comberdell is 10.8, and actually pretty cheap for what they are. So the mattress fit is $60 and Comberdell is $73. So those are great options for anyone out there who's big into photography. I decided I don't need that in my kit, and I just wanted the extra durability to lecky poles. And I was happy to pay the premium for that. So those are 6 options for trekking poles you can use for the Altaplex. I'm sure whichever everyone you go with, you're more than happy with. Again, it depends on what you're looking for in your pole and what your priorities are. If it's price or durability or weight, and you can play with the ratios to see which ones work best for you. So I've linked to a write-up I did on this below. I'll have all the weights and everything that you need, so you can make a more informed choice there. So if you're looking for new poles, any of those poles you'd be more than happy with. But there is also some options to extend your current poles. So if you have generic poles that only go to like 120, 130 centimeters, which the average pole does, and you don't want to buy brand new ones, there are some options out there. So zpacks do have a pole jack extender, which is exactly what it sounds like. It extends your pole. So you just clip it into the bottom of your pole, and it's an extra 30 centimeters. The reason I didn't go for this one is because, one, I didn't want to carry an extra piece of gear in my bag for this one functionality. And again, another reason was because on zpacks it's $20, and for a piece of plastic I was like, that's too much. I actually have a link below to one on Amazon that does the same thing, and it's like $8, something like that. So if you are interested in this, there's a cheaper version out there. Don't buy the zpacks one, in my opinion. But again, mostly I just didn't want to carry that extra piece of gear. And there's another good alternative as well if you want to use your current trekking poles. It's called the trekking pole hitch, and it's a pretty interesting piece of gear. So this allows you to connect your 2 poles together and then extend them into one bigger pole. It only weighs 1.2 ounces and it only costs $10, which I thought was pretty good. Luckily, I decided I was happy to get new poles. But if you're on a budget and you already have a good pair of trekking poles and you don't want to buy a new one, then a trekking pole hitch is actually a really good option. Very light, super cheap, and I haven't used it yet, but for what I've seen online, gets the job done. So yeah, check that out. That's it for me. I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, comment below and I'll get back to you. And if anyone out there has any other recommendations of poles they use with the Altaplex, feel free to leave a comment to help others out. If you like this video, like, subscribe, and check out my other stuff. Cheers. Appreciate it.